Well, Democrats around the country getting a pre-election boost, if you will, from former President Bill Clinton. Here he is speaking live in Ohio. Clinton has been very visible making campaign stops at breakneck speed. He's campaigning right now for Ohio Governor Ted Strickland as we watch him there. But why is he so involved in the process? Joining us now are GOPAC Chairman Frank Donatelli and former Special Assistant to President Clinton, Richard Socarides. Thank you, gentlemen, for talking to us. It doesn't seem that a minute goes by where we're not seeing former President Clinton on camera campaigning. What is it about former President Clinton, Richard, that is so compelling to the Democratic base?
Well, probably the most compelling thing about him is that he's the only president in recent American history to balance the budget. He's incredibly popular right now because when he was president, people were working and the country was thriving. We were at peace. People have good memories about him, and because he's a great leader. He's been a great leader. I mean, and I think that right now, I mean, he loves the political process. Everybody who knows him knows that he loves this. He loves people. He loves campaigning. When I was at the White House, I remember we had 2 midterm elections during the time he was president, and he always knew, he was up watching the returns with the staff. He always knew more about each individual congressional district than anybody else. He didn't want to, he didn't want it to end. But between his what people remember about when he was president, what the economy was like, and his work on Haiti and his work on the international AIDS crisis, I think has made him an enormously popular figure. And the Democrats right now are especially lucky to have him.
All right, tomorrow the president is heading to Rhode Island to endorse the Democrat running for governor in Rhode Island, Frank Caprio. And, he originally decided not to endorse anyone, Frank, because of the president's friendship with independent candidate Lincoln Chafee. And here was Caprio's response to that. And then I'm going to have you react.
What I said to the president is that this process about endorsements isn't something that I'm concerned about right now. And he could take the endorsement and shove it.
Well, he's not shoving it. He's actually now endorsing Caprio. I mean, Frank, what does this say about the president to flip-flop on this decision at the last minute?
Well, I think there was a lot of personal pique there on the part of that gentleman, that he didn't think he was going to be getting the endorsement of the president in his own party. And I must say that would have been quite surprising, because Rhode Island is probably one state where the president's endorsement can be helpful. I just think what's most interesting about the last days of this election, Julie, is that the president is so marginalized that he continues to go to places like Connecticut.
Right.
He's going to go to California again. He's going to go to Illinois, his home state. And he has basically one function. That is to increase the Democratic turnout. Republicans are going to turn out in huge numbers, and independents are going to vote Republican this time. So they're in a damage control mode, trying to save as many seats as they possibly can.
Well, I don't know. Those states are important states. I mean, Illinois, the Senate race in Illinois is probably one of the most important races in the country. And it is close, but that's why President Obama is going there, because it's an important race.
Well, I mean, the fact that the president is having to campaign so hard in all these states, I mean, Connecticut, Rhode Island, California, that he won in 2008 says a lot. But the fact that he is going now to Rhode Island, going back on what he originally said about endorsing Caprio, who said to the president he can shove it. I mean, for a candidate to be talking like that about the president, and then the president still visiting his state and endorsing him, it just is, it's a mess. I mean, Richard, do you think Caprio apologized to the president? I mean, in Rhode Island, it's embarrassing.
I don't think it was embarrassing. I think, in the closing days of a campaign, you occasionally see some strange things. I mean, this kind of stuff happens all the time. Telling
the president to shove it?
Well, I mean, it looked like the president wasn't going to endorse him. I think obviously he was upset, but now cooler heads have prevailed, and I think they've come to terms with it, and hopefully Mr. Caprio is going to win in Rhode Island, and the president ought to be out there campaigning for him. But I mean, I think right now, with 3 days to go, we're glad to have President Clinton out on the campaign trail. And, boy, this election has been tough for Democrats, and I, for one, will be happy on Wednesday when it's over and we can get on with trying to govern and trying to get on to the next phase of this.
All right, Frank, Julie, I just want to give you the final word, and then we got to go.
Yeah, I just say real quickly, I think far more significant for the White House are the large number of Democrats in moderate districts in the South and the Midwest who have not only turned their back on the president, but have said they won't vote for Speaker Pelosi even if they are reelected. It shows a real schism in the Democratic Party, and it shows that there's a tremendous desire for change out there, which is why Republicans are going to do very well on Tuesday.
Frank Donatelli, Richard Socarides, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.